Vishnupadaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutali Namah Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami iti Name Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pashita Deshatarini Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So the 10th chapter is called Vibhuti Yoga. Okay, in Vibhuti Yoga, God tells us the different pastimes and the opulences. Okay, so here, neither the host of the demigod nor the great sages know my origin or opulences my origin or opulences. For I am in every respect. I am the source of demigods and sages. So someone had a question on the day 1 or day 2, right? That do we worship only Krishna? Do we have to worship all the other gods? Should we not worship all the other gods? Right? We had this question. We always have this question, right? When we talk about Krishna and then we are listening to the classes, so we always have this doubt. So here Krishna is answering that. So he says, I am the source of all demigods and sages. You can see here, there is Narayana in the mid center. Okay, Narayana is the form of Krishna, and you have Brahma, you have Gajendra, you have Shiva, you have Sage Narada, you have Rama, you have all the gods, right? All gods are connected to Krishna here. So that's why Krishna says, I am the source of demigods and sages. So you worship anybody, ultimately you worship Krishna. And the best way to do worship is to worship Krishna directly, right? All the demigods come to offer respects to Krishna. So that is how, see, when Devaki gave birth to Krishna. Okay, it is not something like we get born, right? It is not something like we are not like we are born. Okay, Krishna is Sachitananda Murti, so he just comes, and when he got into the heart of Devaki, and then she was pregnant and she was giving birth to Krishna, and when Krishna was getting born, okay, he came out of his mother's womb when all the gods were there, because they all wanted to have the darshan of Krishna. Everybody wanted to see the way Krishna being born as a child on the earth, because everybody knew when Krishna is getting back on the world, he is coming to earth, and he is taking the human form. There is a lot of good things that is going to happen, and everybody wants to take the blessings of his 200 form, right? So that is why all demigods came together and paid their respects to Krishna when he was born to the Devaki mother, right? So you can see on the right, there's a beautiful picture of Krishna and all demigods being surrounded by him. Who created these? Okay, computer, you have a person? Someone can name the person who created the computers, who's called the person who invented computers? Charles Babbage, right? Anybody knows who invented mobile phones? We still have a name of a person, right? Aircrafts, Wright brothers, we always link it to them. Telephone is Graham Bell. Mobile phone is again was a company, Motorola, which started. Okay, so aircrafts, we have Wright brothers. Who created flowers? Can you name a person? God. Who created birds? Science cannot define that, right? Who created the beautiful peacock? So that's the limitation of science. Okay, science cannot define what happens and what God had created. God has created. Science will just tell that it is nature. Who created the human brain? Science cannot define it, right? See, imagine the mobile phones, the computers that we use, see the different gadgets that we use. Everything goes through a software update. Everything needs an update, right? Nothing is perfect. Everything needs an update. How many times did you go through an update in your life? I mean, as a human being, how many times did we go through an update? Is that not so perfect? Your brain never went through an update, right? Imagine if you were a human being and God used to send a regular update to you. You now get updated to version 2.0, 2.1, 2.2, 2.3. And you and your brother, if you are not on the same version, you don't talk to each other. Happens, no? When you are not on the same updated version of Android 11 or Android 12, it doesn't support the previous version. There are a lot of softwares wherein if you open the file, the new file in the older version, it doesn't open. Right? Even in Microsoft Word on this one, what we say is a file which is saved in the presentation, if it is saved in 2011 version, it doesn't, 2020 version, it doesn't open in the 2018 version, right? Imagine if that used to happen, even in human beings. If we had our higher version of the software or we were on the higher grade, updated version, then we don't talk to the lower version. Does it happen like that? No, right? So that's what God has created. That's a perfect creation. You are able to get what I'm saying? It's a perfect creation. And those perfect creations cannot be created by mankind. It needs God to create it. It needs Krishna who has to create it. Who created human beings? See, even today, we have a lot of technologies. People don't have children, and then they get to multiple things, right? They go through multiple tests. They go through multiple procedures. Are they still able to get the baby? No, right? Many people are still not blessed with that, right? But what happens when they go approach Lord, and if they deserve, and if the Lord wills, does it not happen? With all the technology, they say no, but Lord makes it happen, right? So that's the beauty. So Lord Krishna is the source of everything. So he is above everybody. He is the source of everything. Okay? Okay. He who knows me as the unborn, beginningless, as the supreme Lord of all the worlds. He only, undilute among men, is free from all sins. So, what does God say here? The one who surrenders to me completely and knows me as unborn. He doesn't see me as a person with a human form and with the cycle of birth and death. The one who sees me as unborn, as beginningless, as the supreme Lord of all the worlds. He only, and only him, not everybody. Okay? Only the person who sees Lord as unborn, who sees him as beginningless and supreme of all the lords, undone among his men. So even he's not influenced by the various maya around the world, and then people telling him, no, what you're doing is not fine. You should worship this God, you should worship that God. No, he's not carried away by any of those thoughts. He's free from all sins. God makes sure all the sins are freed from, and you take you and go to the next world. Go to Vaikuntha, right? Today is Vaikuntha Ekadashi. How many of you know that? Today is Vaikuntha Ekadashi. All the various Vishnu temples around the world and Krishna temples around the world. What are they going to do? They are going to have a beautiful puja today, and they'll open the Vaikuntha Dwara today, right? They're going to open the doors for Vaikuntha in different temples. That's a procedure, right? Okay. One who's factually convinced in the opulence and mystic power of mind engages in unloyal devotional service. So this is very important. Are there many types of Ekadashi? No. Every Ekadashi day, there is something very special about the Lord. So today is Vaikuntha Ekadashi. There are sometimes when Bhishma Pitama, when he gave up his life, he was waiting for Moksha Ekadashi. So there are multiple Ekadashi. In Gita Jayanti Ekadashi, which happened in December, there are multiple Ekadashi. Every Ekadashi has its own speciality. So today is Vaikuntha Ekadashi. Okay. One who is factually convinced of, and again, when a different, it's not different types of it is only different names for the day of Ekadashi. And all Ekadashi, we follow the same procedure of fasting. We only fast on grains. And if people go to the next level and they want to fast Nirjala, they can also fast Nirjala. Okay, they take nothing during the day. Okay. One who is factually convinced of its opulences and mystic powers of mind engages in unloyal devotional service. That's what one who's convinced, one who's factually convinced. It is not something you are convinced because someone is influencing you. You realize for your own. Okay, and you have realized by facts. So we are giving you all proofs, right? We are giving you all shastras. We are giving you different stories when what happened, and this is all because of that. So we saw the picture of the womb and the baby, right? So what happened during Mahabharata is Ashwatthama. Okay, Ashwatthama used the Brahmastra to kill everybody in the Pandava family, right? He set out the Brahmastra to even kill Parikshit Maharaj, right? Parikshit Maharaj, who was in the womb of Uttara. Who's Uttara? Uttara is the wife of Abhimanyu. And who is Abhimanyu? Abhimanyu is the son of Arjuna. You know the story, right? Ashwatthama sends in Brahmastra to kill Parikshit Maharaj, who is still in the womb of Uttara. Uttara, without having a doubt, she calls for support from Krishna. She calls for Krishna and prays to Krishna to support, to protect her son, protect the baby in their womb, right? So what does Krishna do immediately? He gets inside the womb of Uttara and protects the son, right? And how does he get in? He becomes as small as the smallest, smaller than the baby. And he goes inside and then he protects. You heard of the story, right? So when the baby inside the womb sees Krishna, okay, when he comes out, when he is born, when Parikshit Maharaj is born, and he asks everybody, who was the person who saw inside the womb? He's going after everybody and saying, and getting to understand whom he saw. So, and you know who gave Bhagavatam? It was Parikshit Maharaj. So look at the beauty. Krishna chose Arjuna to deliver the Bhagavad Gita so that the message of Bhagavad Gita goes to everybody, reaches everybody. till date, if we are reading Bhagavad Gita, whom did Krishna give this knowledge to? His friend and devotee Arjuna. Why did he give it to Arjuna? Because he was sure when you give it to Arjuna, he will give it to the rest of the coming generations, right? And how many generations have passed since then? We still hear of Bhagavad Gita today, right? Why is that happening? Because of Arjuna's devotion. And he chose Parikshit Maharaj to give Bhagavatam. And today look at Bhagavatam also. Bhagavatam is so popular. And it is being given, Bhagavatam is such a huge book. So many volumes of it. Each and every story is being clearly detailed out in it, right? And that is given by Parikshit Maharaj. So when one is factually convinced by his opulences and mystic power of mind, engages in unloyal devotion. Of this, there is no doubt. So one who is factually convinced will obviously surrender to Krishna, right? Okay. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. So again, Krishna is again confirming. He is the source of all spiritual and material worlds. We saw there are two worlds, right? One is the spiritual world, one after the above, which is above the earth, we go to, which is called heaven, where we get into the Vaikuntha Loka. We have the on the Goloka chart we saw, right? We have Vaikuntha Loka, we have Krishna Loka, and we've got Goloka, okay, which is the Krishna Loka on the top. And we have the material world, which is the earth that we are looking, right? And we have the lower worlds, which is more towards the bottom, more on the bottom, which is Atala Vitala, so you got until Patala, right? So this is what Krishna says. The wise who perfectly know this, engage in my devotional service and worship me with all hearts, and he takes them to the next world. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Krishna is the source. So any other doubts, please take it away. Krishna is the source of both the spiritual as well as the material worlds. Okay. He decides what is Maya. He controls Maya. He is not at all controlled by Maya. He is controlling Maya, and it is his, as he breathes every day in and day out. Okay, the world is expanding. Everything emanates from me. So everything is coming out of Krishna only. The thoughts of my pure devotee dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. What are we doing for the past 10 days? Are we not conversing about Krishna? And still we are connected. Why? Because we are devoted. We like to hear it. And they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. So what are we doing? I am very happy because I am giving you some knowledge about Krishna. You are happy because you're learning some knowledge about Krishna, right? What is happening in the thought of my pure devotees dwell in me. So when we think of Lord and we talk about Lord, talk about Krishna, he is happy. Okay, he gets connected to us. And when Krishna is connected to us, our lives are completely devoted to his service and derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about Krishna. Do you agree? For the past 10 days, we've been very happy and we've been very connected to learn about Krishna, right? So that's the beauty. So I told you the story of Parikshit Maharaj in the womb, right? So that is what is being represented. And The other one is the Prahlad Maharaj story. Okay, I'll tell you the Prahlad Maharaj story is coming up here. So what happens is, okay, this is more connected to Prahlad Maharaj. So Prahlad Maharaj, when he is in his womb, okay, his mother, by that time what happens is Hiranyakashipu is gone for, Hiranyakashipu's brother is killed by Vishnu. So what happens is Hiranyakashipu is now completely envious about Vishnu, and he goes and starts meditating to Brahma to get immortality. During that time, what happens is Narada Muni comes, and here is Prahlad Maharaj's mother who's pregnant, and Narada Muni comes to her, and he tells him, and she asks for blessings of Narada Maharaj. So Narada Muni gives her his blessings, and while he is giving his blessings, it is Prahlad Maharaj in the womb who's also listening to what Narada Muni is telling you. So we normally tell, right, when the baby is in the 7th or 8th month of the pregnancy, baby can hear everything that we are talking. You should hear a very good things about. You should hear to good things, and it is hearing through the mother. We tell this, right? This is very common, even in science we say, right? In the 7th and 8th month, 7, 8 and 9th month, last 3 months, the baby is always hearing, but it is more pronounced when it is in the 7th, 8th and 9th months. So that's when they try to listen about very good things, only the positive things, right? So that is what has happened here. So when the baby comes out, it has accepted Narada Muni as his guru. Prahlad Maharaj has already accepted Narada Muni as his guru, and who better can explain about Krishna than Narada Muni? He has already explained Prahlad Maharaj when he was in the womb, and when he grows as a baby, okay, and he is in the Gurukul of the Rakshasas, because what did Hiranyakashipu do? He converted all Gurukul as Rakshasa Gurukul, right? And when he is in the Rakshasa Gurukul, Prahlad Maharaj is converting the other kids in the Gurukul into devotees of Krishna, devotees of Vishnu. So what happens is, Hiranyakashipu is not happy with this. He calls his daughter, his sister. His sister is a person like whoever sits on the lap of his sister will get burned to ashes. Okay, that's the boon that she had got. And here is here is Prahlad Maharaj who sits in the womb of his sister. In the lap of his sister. And what happens? Instead of he getting burned, his sister gets burned. That's because he is always chanting Krishna, chanting about Krishna. He's praying to the Lord, and he's always remembering the Lord. When that happens, his sister gets burned. Then he has already lost his brother, he's lost his sister also now. So Hiranyakashipu gets angry. So he puts the child inside a jail with a lot of demons. What happens? The child is completely protected by Krishna. All the demons, they are not able to do anything. Then he throws the child from the top of a cliff. Nothing happens. Krishna has protected the child. He holds him at the bottom and he delivers the child back. He puts Prahlad Maharaj in the midst of a lot of very powerful, very poisonous snakes, but nothing happens. He puts him in Pathala, nothing happens. He puts him, he gets the most vigorous elephant and gets to stamp him, but the elephant gets elephant becomes a devotee. So when all this happens, okay, Prahlad Maharaj glorifies Vishnu and in the Rakshasa Gurukul also. So and then at one point in time, Hiranyakashipu is so irritated that he starts cursing Prahlad Maharaj. And he starts blaspheming the Lord. And Prahlad Maharaj asks, where is the Lord? Prahlad Maharaj randomly points a pillar and Lord comes in the form of a Narasimha avatar and kills Hiranyakashipu. After that, at a very young age, Bhakta Prahlad was announced as the king. And you know what he asked immediately after he became a king, or he was to Lord Vishnu, to Narasimha Maharaj? He asked, "Will my father get moksha?" So look at the innocence, right? That's the devotee. A person who tried to kill him so many times. Okay, yet he goes and asks whether will my father gets moksha. And the Lord says, yes, not only your father, you have liberated 21 generations of yours. Just because you are a pure devotee. So when we are connected to Lord and we chant and we do the chanting regularly, what will we do? Even without knowing ourselves, we'll be liberating several generations, several ancestors who are still stuck in this material world. Okay, a lot of their souls will be liberating them. So that's what Prahlad Maharaj did when he became a very strong devotee of the Lord. He liberated 21 generations. All the with all the difficulties that Hiranyakashipu gave him, he still remembered the Lord. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So these are all devotees, all small kids like Prahlad Maharaj. And look at the beauty. See, these kids are all placed at such young age to start the devotional journey. And why are they doing it? Because in the previous births, they had got connected very much. And they were very close to Krishna. And this birth, Krishna made sure they start from the beginning. And they get moksha by the services. So this is the younger they are, the better they are, right? So that's why when we even talk about kids in the womb, we want them to listen to good things about Krishna, good things about the God early in their age, so that they become devotees. They can become devotees at a young age, right? Okay, to those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give them the understanding by which they can come to me. So now for the past 10 days, when you are constantly devoted, right? What is God giving you? I'm just telling you what God gave you, right? What is God giving you? He's giving us the understanding by which we can reach Him. Right? This is the way we reach Him. How do we reach Him? Do we have to do elaborate procedures? Do we have to do we have to give punishments to ourselves? Does He say, you come to this temple, you come to that temple, come here, come there? What does God all that God tell you? What understanding has He given in the last few days, okay, through which we can reach Him? Can anyone reply? Nama Sankirtan. That's right. We only talk to Him, we only talk about Him, and we only chant, right? We only say Nama Sankirtan to Him. That's the best thing, right? And what else other than that? We remember Him all the time, right? We remember Him in all the activities. We give all the fruits as well as we remember Him for everything. Even for the happy things we remember the Lord, and even for the bad things we normally remember. So if something goes wrong, we always put that on Lord. So here we also already made a deal that we'll also give all the results of the good things also to the Lord, right? And the best way to reach Him, the best thing at the end of life, how do we reach Him? We remember Lord during, and you remember only Lord during death, right? So that's the three things. With the GPS, where do you reach? You reach your home, right? With the Japamala, and when you do your Japa and keep chanting on the name of Lord, we go back to our real home, which is the Lord Himself, right? Okay. To show them some special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy the shining lamp of knowledge. Destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So when you are in the line in a dark, when it is dark, what do you do? How do you make it brighter? You light a lamp, right? So when you have no understanding of something, imagine you have a new course to be done, you have a new knowledge to gain, okay, and you know nothing about it. What do? You try to get the knowledge of it, right? And when you get the knowledge of it, your confidence improves. When you have to get to a new software or a new technology, what do? You start learning the knowledge about it, right? You don't know how to ride a car, how to drive a car. You go to a driving school, or you take up support of someone and learn driving. So what happens? You start getting the knowledge of driving. And when you do that, what happens? The darkness is removed. Right? Your confidence is improved. The darkness is removed with knowledge. So that's what God says. To show them special mercy. This is to the devotees. I dwelling in their hearts. God is always in our hearts, right? Destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So once you believe Him and you realize the Lord, what happens is He will remove all the darkness in your life through the knowledge. Okay, does that make sense? Okay. Arjuna said, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate adore, the purest, the absolute truth. You are eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Vasishtha, Devala, and Vyasa confirm this truth about you, and you yourself are declaring it to me. Okay. So now what happens is, whatever we read in the history books, right? Who has told us? It is some author who has told us, right? Did you see to it? No. When you see news today, okay, at the end of the news program, what do they say? Director, producer. Have you seen it or not? They don't call it news anymore. They say we are breaking the story, right? They don't say breaking news, they say breaking story. And news has become story today. What is story and what is news? That's the difference, right? News is something which has happened and is being told as it is. That is news. As it happened. And story is, that is something that we add masala to it. The way we want to deliver it. So that is what happens in the news channels today. So they have a producer and director for it. When did things happen in real life with an direction and things, right? No, right? That is not the way it happens. So here Arjuna says, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you are the ultimate out of the purest, the absolute truth. All this is told by whom? The great sages, Narada, Devala, Vasishtha, Vyasa, all people confirmed it. Okay, these are not ordinary people, right? They are not ordinary people who gave this. They all confirm the Lord is Supreme. Today we believe all the history books that were written by multiple people. And we say that is right. Why? Because someone wrote it. Some human being wrote it. And here there are great human beings. Some ordinary person wrote it, we believe in them. Here there are great people who wrote it. Great sages who wrote this and who told us. And God Himself is coming, is also told that in Bhagavad Gita. But still we doubt. Does it not happen? That's the ignorance in which we have been living all these days. So we should stop doing that. Don't believe in what has been told and what the way the Maya is trying to cover it up. Maya wants to control us, right? So we get out of it and we understand and believe what the great sages, what our history has clearly told us, what Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita has told himself. So that is to be believed. Which needs to be believed? The one when Lord comes and says, I am the Lord, or we say multiple people and say like, no, God did not tell this. We have read through multiple books. They are also not telling that they've seen. Here the sages have said they have experienced. This is their experience that they are saying. But today's books, what do they say? We read through these books, and those books don't claim to be this, right? They don't claim Lord to be there. They don't claim Kurukshetra happened. We read them, right? We also get to know all these books, right? So they are not even telling their experiences. They are referring to another few referrals. So they don't want to be caught in between. So they are only referring to multiple things which do not have a proper reference, which are not reality. O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, nor O Lord, can understand your personality. So even we go understand everything, whatever we learn, we cannot understand the Lord's personality completely, right? We are nothing in front of the Lord. Nothing in front of these great sages. And how do we understand? How do we gauge the personality of the Lord? We are no way comparable. We cannot even think of gauging the personality of the Lord. So that's why Arjuna says, I totally accept as truth all you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons O Lord, can understand your personality. So even when demigods are not able to understand the complete personality of the Lord, where are we? We are nothing to understand, right? So the best thing we do is accept everything as true and surrender to the Lord. O Krishna, O Supreme Mystic, how shall I constantly think of you and how shall I know you? In what various forms are you to be remembered, O Supreme Personality of Godhead? Now Arjuna again asks. Just now we realize that Arjuna has become quite clear and he surrendered. Now he again asked him for us. He said, like, oh Krishna, okay, all that you've told is fine. How shall I constantly think of you? I agree, I'll have to believe, I agree, I completely surrender to you. I agree on whatever you said. I accept you as Supreme Lord. All that done, how do I constantly think of you and how shall I know you? In what various forms are you to be remembered, O Supreme Personality of Godhead? So, Krishna again replies, I am the Super Soul, O Arjuna, seated in the hearts of all living entities. I am the beginning, middle, and the end of all beings. Is it not very clear? Aham Atma Gudeksha Sarvam Bhutasya Siddha. So he says, like, I am the Super Soul. I am seated in the hearts of all living entities. So he says, Madhyama, he says, I am the middle. I am the Adi, which is the beginning. I am the Madhyama, which is the middle. I am the Anta, which is the end also. He says, don't worry, everything is me. I am in every living entity. Be it a small bee which is flying, be it a mosquito which is there, be it a tiger which is in the jungle, be it an elephant which is getting wild, be it an ant which is actually eating the prasad, okay? Be it human beings, I am there in every living entity. I am in the heart of all living entities. Right? Of all trees, I am the banyan tree, and of all sages, amongst the demigods, I am Narada. And of all the sages among the demigods, I am Narada. Of the Gandharvas, I am Chitratha. And among perfected beings, I am the sage Kapila. That's what he says. If you ask me which tree I am the banyan tree. So what does a banyan tree do? It grows so vast, right? It grows so vast. So his banyan tree. Is there a tree which you can imagine bigger than the banyan tree? No, right? So that's the tree that Lord is. He is the largest of the trees. He is the best among these demigods and sages, which is Narada. Of the Gandharvas is Chitratha. And among the perfected beings, he is sage Kapila. Of the greatest sages, I am Brahmaraj. Of vibrations, I am transcendental Om. Okay, we don't have Om in the Mahamantra Japa. Why? Because we have Krishna there, right? Because he's of the vibrations, I am the transcendental Om. Of sacrifices, I am chanting of sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy name. And of immovable things, I am the Himalayas. Do you think anything better than this can be given as an example for immovable things? Can you ever think of moving the Himalayas? Never, right? We cannot even imagine the size of Himalayas. Forget about moving them. Of sacrifice, I am the chanting of the holy names. I am in the sages, I am Brahmaraj. Okay. Of the weapons, I am the thunderbolt. Among the cows, I am the Surabhi. Of the causes of protection, I am Gandharva. And of gods of love, I am the serpents, I am Vasuki. So what is the cow that we are seeing here? Surabhi. And what does the cow Surabhi do? Anybody knows? Anybody knows about the Surabhi cow? Nobody replying. Okay. Okay, if nobody knows and nobody is replying, okay, let this be the homework. So just try to understand what is the story of Surabhi cow. Okay? It is Parashurama's cow, yes. And why is it so special? Okay, I'll not dwell upon the story of Surabhi cow today. I'll leave it for you to understand it for tomorrow. How many of you? I think a couple of classes back, you remember in bits and pieces. Just go through. So I'll give you the story tomorrow. I wanted to understand why is India called Bharata, right? Someone searched for it. Someone searched for it. Did you get the answer? Tejasvi, probably you want to say something? Okay, I think you got unmuted by accidentally. Okay. Okay. It is because of the King Bharata of Mahabharata and not from Ramayana. Yes. No, it's even Bharata is even before. Okay, I think people just get to understand further. Okay, just to understand again. I think people have not, you guys have not searched for it. Just Google it again. Maybe by end of class also you can tell me. I want you guys to answer that. Okay. So there are two homework activities. One is about the Surabhi cow. Second one is about Bharata. Of the many hooded Nagas, I am Anatha. Okay? And among the aquatic, I am the demigod Varuna. Of departed ancestors, I am Aryama. And among the dispensers of law, I am Yama, the Lord of Death. Have you ever thought, have you ever heard of any story where they say that Yama has been unfair? There are people who also say like God has been unfair. But have anybody said Yama has been unfair? No, right? Because the Lord of Death is the dispenser of law. There's never a doubt in his decision. Nobody doubts his decision. So that's why where Krishna says, among the dispensers of law, if there is someone who upholds the law and order better than like someone is to be given the responsibility of holding the law and order, that is Yama. And he is Yama for that, the Lord of Death. Okay, among the Daitya demons, I am the devoted Prahalada. So Prahalada was a demon, right? By birth he was a demon, right? But among the Daitya demons, so like the devoted demons, what is he? He is Bhakta Prahalada. And among subdued, I am the time. Okay? He is the time. What do we all not have? We don't have money, we don't have food, that's a different thing. What do we always say we don't have? If you want to spend if you want to say to have one round of Mahamantra Japa, want to spend time serving the Lord, what do we say? We don't have time, we are busy, right? So Lord says, among the subduers I am the time. Among beasts I am the lion. Among the birds I am Garuda. He is the supreme among everything. So that's why he says, in anything that you see, can you imagine a devotee better than Prahalada? No. Can you imagine an animal much stronger than the lion? No. Can you imagine a bird which is much stronger than the Garuda? No. Okay. Can you see something which nobody wants, everybody wants more time, right? Everybody, even the deathbed, what do you say? Like they wanted to live a little more. He could have lived a little more. When someone expires, what we say? Someone passes away, we say, maybe he could have lived a little more. Right? So that is where it is like among the subduals, he is the time. So when God says, wherever you say, I am the supreme of whatever you think. Of all creations, I am the beginning and the end and also the middle. O Arjuna, of all sciences, I am the spiritual science of the self. And among logicians, I am the conclusive truth. So God clearly mentions here, among the sciences, I am the spiritual science. So which is the most supreme knowledge? The spiritual knowledge. Right? So why it is the spiritual knowledge? Because who has confirmed it? Because Krishna confirms it in 10.32 of Bhagavad Gita. You don't need any better proof for it. Because the Lord himself has told, the knowledge which is the most supreme is the spiritual knowledge. And among logicians and the conclusive truth. Is there a better logic than giving the truth? Do you think there's a better knowledge than giving the truth? Absolutely not, right? You give the truth, all logics are shattered. If you give the lie, you'll have to logically conclude. How many of you understand, get this experience in day-to-day life? You have to logically conclude. Give them the truth, no? Simple. Once you give the truth, all logics are gone. No more logically concluding. It is the truth. Of letters, I am the letter A. Or he says, it's actually, he says, I am the letter A. And among compounded words, I am the dual compounded, Krishna Chaitanya. I am also inexhaustible time. And of the creators, I am Brahma. Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahma. So that's what Krishna clearly says. I am all dwelling. I am all devouring death. I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women of fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. So among the women, what are we? What are women? Why do we look at women for? Okay, what are women famous for? So what are they? What are the qualities of women? They have a good fame. They have fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. Right? These are the qualities of the women. And he says, I mean, the women. I am the fame. I am the fortune. So all the Ashtalakshmis that we are looking for. Mahalakshmi, Lakshmi, okay, fine speech, Saraswati, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. He is everything there. Of the hymns in the Sama Veda, I am the Bharat Sama. I am the poet. We have the four Vedas, right? Rig Veda, Atharveda, Yajurveda, and Sama Veda. The Sama Veda is the hymns. You've heard of people chanting the Veda, Sama Veda? They always, they just have a hymn to go. They sing the Veda. And he says, among that, I am the Bharat Sama. So that is the best of it. And I am the poetry, I am the Gayatri. So Gayatri mantra is regularly chanted by people, right? So I am on the poetry and the mantra, Gayatri mantra. Of the months, I am the month of Margari. Okay? Margasira. So we have this Margari month, right? November, December, when the flowers blossom. And when the whole, the weather is not so hot, it is a spring month which is going through. It's not the winter when it is cold, when it is not the rainy season, when it is pouring, but somewhere in between. Okay, so that is a beautiful period when all the flowers blossom. And of the seasons, I am the flower bearing spring. I am also the gambling of cheats. And I am of the splendid, I am the splendor. I am victory. I am adventure, and I am the strength of the strong. So he says everything. What are you? Is all. Arjuna asked one question, right? Krishna is answering for the next multiple shlokas. I am the gambling of cheats. If you want to gamble with me, I am the best gambler. If you want, and on the splendid, I am the splendor. And if you want to win, I am the victory. If you want adventure, I am the adventure. If you want strength, I am the. If you want to be strong, I am the strength of all the strong. So that's what Krishna says. I am the supreme. Of the descendants of Varshni, I am Vasudeva. And of the Pandavas, I am Arjuna. Of the sages, I am Vyasa. And among the thinkers, I am Usana. So, now you know why Arjuna was chosen, right? He says, among the Pandavas, who is Krishna? Arjuna, right? So that's why he chose Arjuna. Why did he make Vyasadeva write the Mahabharata? Because among the sages, he is Vasudeva. Sorry, he is Vyasa. Why did he ask Vyasa Maharaj write the Vedavyas Maharaj write the Mahabharata? Because among the sages, he is Krishna. So that is how supreme the Lord is. Among the means of suppressing lawlessness, I am punishment. Among the means of suppressing lawlessness, I am punishment. And those who seek victory, I am mortality. Of secret things, I am silence. And of the wise, I am the wisdom. So can you think of anything more secret than the silence? Can you think of anything that is more secret than silence? You want someone to tell you something, and if he's silent, what happens? You become more skeptical about things, right? Why is he not telling? Why? What is the secret that he's trying to hide? So then the secret becomes bigger and bigger, right? So of the secret, I am the silence, which is the biggest secret, being silent. Right? Furthermore, Arjuna, I am generating the seed of all existence. There is no being moving or not moving that can exist without me. So now clearly he says, like, everything, I am the seed. And there's nothing which is moving or without not moving that can exist without me. Without me, everything it's the end of everything. Know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. Everything that you see is a spark of my splendor. There's a story even for the way Krishna holds his leg onto his mouth. So when Krishna is holding it, they say everybody says, "I want to be in the lotus feet of the Lord." Lotus feet of the Lord. Krishna here is explaining, like, if everybody wants to taste my feet, so first let me taste it, and he keeps it in his mouth. He says, "Oh, it's so sweet to be in to taste the lotus feet." He himself makes fun of it. In Bhagavatam, there's a story for that also. It's a complete entertainment. He's a complete, among the enjoyment, there's no better entertainer than the Lord, right? So that's why, but what need is there, Arjuna, for all the detailed knowledge, with a single fragment of myself prevailing and support this entire universe? He says, like, by just a small fragment of my look, I can support this whole universe. So why do you have asked for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I can prevent the whole world. In a fraction of a second, Krishna can decide whether he wants to have this world, he doesn't want to have this world, right? With a single fragment of myself, I prevent and support this entire universe. So he says, then there are multiple fragments where he is supporting multiple universes. This is just a small part for him. So what is the importance of chanting the Panchatattva mantra? Okay, what is the Panchatattva mantra? So when we do all this, when we do the puja and things, we do it through our Guru. And what is the role of Guru? Role of Guru is only to teach you right things and say if something wrong is happening, it is your mistake? No, right? It is the Guru's responsibility to teach you the right things. And if you do a mistake, whom do you curse first? The teacher did not teach me that first, right? Teacher did not teach me in the right way. So that's why anything we do, we first start our blessings with, give our opulences to our Guru. We take the blessings of our Guru. That's why we say Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. And then we start the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.